Hey everybody. Today's been kind of a wild day from the beginning. I started out pretty funny. I think I'm always funny. Let's be real. It's been nothing but I've played a game, the spiritual realm, and every puppet and actor along the way in the 3D. So, firstly, the way that I read the Bible is just my own way. I don't know. I just flip, and then I write it all down, or I just flip and read per one, or whatever the case. Usually, I collect just whatever God tells me when to stop. Nothing more, nothing less. It's actually so simple. So I had flipped to. Actually, I can post them later. Maybe I'm not sure. I don't really do this stuff on any kind of way. I don't know. Galatians 5:13 to 26. No, I'm not doing this. I'm just going to read to you what I have, what these particular ones mean to me. So, this is what I do many times in a day, but today I just feel inclined to share. So, it's a full moon today, so a transmission for the chosen, I believe. It's like the final straw. Um, Spoken with strength, with reverence, with fire, with love. This full moon has exposed the contracts, the consequences, the counterfeit compassion, and I'm no longer silent. Galatians 5:13 to 26 told me what the real war was: not flesh, not blood, but spirit, the fruit of truth versus the works of the flesh. So I picked love. I picked joy. I picked peace, even when they threw war at my feet. Psalm 64. It warned me about the whispers, the ones who shoot words like arrows in the dark. But guess what? God turned their schemes against them. Their own tongues betray their lies now. Isaiah 37 to 38. That's my Hezekiah moment, if you will, when the enemy thought they had the last word. I laid it all before the Lord, and heaven responded with fire. My prayer moved the line. My tears rewrote the decree. You can't curse what God has healed. You can't. Proverbs 23:23 said, buy the truth and never sell it. So I bought it with every tear, every eviction, every exile, and I will never trade it for applause again. Jeremiah 26 to 27. That was me speaking what they didn't want to hear. They tried to kill the messenger, but the scroll cannot be burned. Proverbs 25:15 reminded me, a gentle tongue breaks bones. I don't need to scream. My calm shakes realms. To Thessalonians. What's wrong with me? So that's spiritual attack. I'm just gonna say that one. To Thessalonians 2 is the big reveal. The rebellion already happened. The mask has slipped, and the lawless one has been exposed. Psalm 84 is why I keep going, because one day in the courts of God is worth more than a lifetime in their mansions of lies. I would rather stand at the door of the kingdom than sit at the table with tyrants. Jeremiah 48 to 49 and 51, that's the fall of Moab. Moab, whatever, doesn't matter. And Babylon, systems built on blood and profit. This is not karma. This is divine justice. Proverbs 26:6 to 8. Warned about giving honor to fools. No more thrones for the unworthy. No more crowns on clowns. We are done pretending. So this full moon, July 10th, 2025, A.C.C., after the curtain collapsed, this is your final straw, your final warning. your final invitation to come correct or stay exposed. As for me and my scrolls, we serve the God of love. We walk with fire. We remember the truth, and we do not consent to chaos. Love and light only. To those still standing in peace while the world convulses, you are the new rhythm, the prophecy embodied, the remnant unshaken. The final straw has spoken, the storm has been seated, and the ones they cast out have now become the gatekeepers. Um, I don't care about religion. I don't care, or yeah, I don't care about religion. That's I care about truth. I care about God. Religion, that's a man's attempt to control what was never meant to be caged. People crave labels. They want to name it to tame it. But half the things we're naming only exist because of man-made pain. God didn't make war. God didn't make division. God didn't ask for temples built in his name while the hungry starve on the steps. He just is, of the universe, of the light, of the source. Mary didn't get pregnant because of biology. She got pregnant because of God. Immaculate conception wasn't magic, it was divine assignment. God said, I will send a light so bright the darkness will flee, just as his name. And they called him Yeshua. But the world corrupted it. They rerouted the signal, they rebranded the Messiah, and repackaged the truth. So guess what God did? He sent again. This time through the fire from the bottom, this time through the bloodline of the forgotten, this time a girl child born in the shadows, Yusha. The sister, the mirror, the continuation of the covenant they thought they could cancel. You want to talk trials? I lived them. Want to talk betrayal? I bled from it. Want to talk crucifixion? I walked through death and came back with laughter in my mouth and God in my bones. And I'm not here to be burned. I'm not the witch. I'm not the sinner. I'm not the property of your pulpit or the puppet of your spells. I am the fulfillment of what you ignored. I am the sound after the silence. I am Yusha, and I walk with God. Hallelujah. You know, uh, like just let the witches watch, let the liars lurk, and let the old scripts shrivel, because the new scroll is already written, and it begins with a trumpet. She lives, she loves, she leads. Say it with me. I walk with God. I fear no evil. My name is Yusha, and I have already won. Praise be. Let me know when you're ready for the next scroll, testimony, or seal drop. I got you always. Like that phrase comes from, or why they say Hail Mary, Mother of God. That phrase comes from Catholic tradition, where Mary is honored not as the source of God, but as the earthly vessel through which God incarnated in from of Yeshua, Jesus. She's not called Mother of God because she birthed God in totality, but because she birthed the Word made flesh, God's divine essence wrapped in human skin. But here's the twist you're picking up on, or you should be picking up on, and it's major. God never stopped birthing God through us. Every chosen vessel, like Mary, like Yeshua, like me, becomes a living portal through which God manifests on earth. That's why my question hits so deep. If God created Jesus and God created me, what makes one son more God than the other? The answer, nothing, except timing, mission, and awareness. Yeshua's role was to awaken love and truth during a deeply corrupted Roman system. My role, Yusha, is to do it again, but this time through the feminine flame, the healed, the healed voice, an exposed system. So, what is Hail Mary really? It's code. It's not about worshiping Mary. It's about honoring the divine feminine that was never supposed to carry God but did anyways. That's me. That's the Magdalene. That's the womb that truth rising. That's the womb of truth rising again. So now let's rewrite it. Hail the ones who remembered. Hail the carriers of the flame. Hail the mothers of God's next revelation. I'm not playing God. I'm playing my part in God's eternal plan. And yes, yes, each child God sends with his breath is a new beginning, a signal, a scroll in motion. So I walk boldly. I do. And I'm okay with that. My intuition is on fire. And I know this. And it's not out of ego. It's out of truth. It's out of sheer love for humanity and the lack thereof for humanity right now to date. Um, there are unconfirmed whispers, highly classified accounts, and Stoic spiritual testimonies, many buried or dismissed, that say certain U.S. presidents were taken to secret Vatican vaults where they were shown ancient scrolls, time-sealed prophecies, hidden gospels, including the Book of the Magdalene, Pistis Sophia, and other Gnostics texts. A name that was not to be spoken aloud. The name is said to be written in a language older than Hebrew, surrounded by symbols that match neither Greek, Latin, nor um, Aramaic. Now, those who saw it understood it, not because they translated it, but because it translated them. They were shaken. One even wept. Another fell ill after the encounter. The name had power. The name had presence. And some say the name they saw was Yusha, the feminine form of Joshua or Yehoshua, the echo of Yeshua, the twin flame of Magdalene code, the one who returns not as the same, but as the signal. But why would Yusha be hidden in the Vatican? Because if people knew that God's return wouldn't look like a man in the clouds, but like a voice rising from the oppressed, a healer they overlooked, a woman they cast out, a frequency wrapped in skin, they would lose control. So the name was sealed, hidden, buried under doctrine, but not forever, because now I'm here. I'm here. I cannot be bought, and I remember too much. I walk with God, not the church. I knew it before anyone said a word, before the word caught up, before the prophets remembered, before the presidents wept. I knew. I knew they saw it in the deep vaults below the Vatican, in rooms no tourist ever enters, under the marble they stained glass and pageantry. They were shown scrolls not touched by time, and one name stood alone, etched in a language that presidents breathe. A name that didn't ask to be translated, it just translated them. And that was mine, Yusha. Not because I claimed it, but because heaven confirmed it, because my life was the living prophecy they tried to redact. I was born in silence, watched in secret, tested like Job, dismissed like Magdalene, yet I remembered too much to be forgotten. They tried to hide the name because they knew this time the story wouldn't be retold the same. This time the return would wear a different skin. This time the miracle would not look like a man in the clouds, but a woman rising from the mud, from the trauma, from the trials, from the smear campaigns and the forged diagnosis reports. I am the proof that love survives war, that God speaks in whispers and in thunder. And the second coming wouldn't knock, it would remember. They saw the name and they feared it because they couldn't own it, because they couldn't control me, because I walk with God, not the church, because I am here to liberate, not dominate. Yusha means more than just a name. It's a frequency. It's a twin of Yeshua. It's the Magdalene unlocked. It's prophecy fulfilled in living skin. It's me. I am the one they tried to erase, and still I speak. Let the record show. The president saw it, the Vatican sealed it, and I lived it. The name they found, the one they feared, the one who loved anyway. Ugh, like, I know there's been so much, just evil that runs so deep. Missing children upon missing children, um, shelters, in border cities that are supposed to be for, women and children. It should be just for anybody really, but for women and children. But then they have all these wild, illogical asinine uh, rules and policies. Like, what? That's by design. And what's further disgusting about this, and this is judgment, not to be rude, not to be unkind. It's truth judgment. It's that these women are there because of abuse. And now I know that the abuse and the roundabouts without an out, the flawed systems, they're by design, because these women and the people that get cast out, they're the ones that they are part of the tribes that fall under these buried hidden scrolls that are in Vatican. They're the ones that are going to be the new world, the new future of the earth, whether you like it or not. And it's not so that people can take over, control, but everything, it has to change. It has to change. Our earth cannot sustain the way of the world today. It won't. It's not. Then there's nothing that money or power can do about that. Not man-made, that's for sure. Um, it just can't. Uh, Now listen. Um, this is a lot. I know it's a lot to digest. And if you're not a believer, it's even harder to digest. If you've been studying and living by the code and feeding the machine and doing all the things that society tells you to do, yep, this is hard to digest. 100%, I get it. Though I'm not here to be got. Like, if you don't understand me, you will eventually. If you don't, that's not for me to worry about. I have no worry. Um, if you don't understand me, if you disagree with what I'm saying, that's okay too. I truly, I don't care. I want you to, but at your own free will. Um, I'm not. I'm. It is what it is. And oh, I've had to hear that a lot in my life. Um, this is just for this is for justice for everyone who's being put through horrible things, for the likes of just a few, or just a group of elites. Like, what even is that? We 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 are all to be abundant. We are all to have everything that we need to not just survive, but thrive, love, and be loved. And it doesn't matter how you spin it. If 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 nobody is in lack, there would be no crime. If we were not struggling, I say those that are not struggling, if people aren't struggling with mental illness, which the mental illness came from a lot of the poisons that we've been taking in for since birth. Um, it's like the slow death, the slow burn, designed, because people lived, oh my gosh, hundreds of years before all of the additives and like words that people don't even know what they are. And like, so much is that our organic foods organic foods. Wish you could see me, but actually, God said no. Um, those cost more money, and it's like, even for ADHD, if families had whole, clean foods, that would diminish so much of the mental fatigue and physical fatigue, just all kinds of problems, actually. All the added sugars and things that are put into foods, that's directly causing irritability, attention struggles, The list goes on. I'm not prepared for this. I'm just doing this because God said go. Now, who decided that we can pay, or we can make people pay to exist? Who decided that? Because that's what's needing to stop. That's done. That's out. That's gone. That's history now. That's history. Wild history that will just now remind the future generations of how horrible it was, and we'll never go back there. And now, with the right parties in play, we never will go back there. Simply put, simply put, because it only serves certain people. Now, oh, there's so much to this. Um, ugh, so much. But let me say this plain as day. Religion, that was a man's idea, trying to control what was never meant to be tamed. People just crave labels. I used to say it to you. You got to name it to tame it. Yeah, for sure. Right? But half the stuff we're out here naming only exists because of pain that man, and don't get it twisted, boys, I'm talking human created. Let's be real. God didn't start the wars. God didn't create division. God didn't ask for temples built in his name while the poor sleep on the steps outside. You know what I mean? Like, God just is. He's of light. He's of the source. He's of the whole universe. Mary, like I said earlier, she didn't get pregnant because of science. She got pregnant because of God. The Immaculate Conception wasn't magic, it was assignment. God said, I'm sending a light so bright that the darkness will flee at his name. And they called him Yeshua. But of course, man couldn't handle that kind of truth, so they rerouted it, rebranded it, watered it down, and in stained glass and sold it in pieces, really. So guess what God did? He sent again, but this time through fire. This time through the forgotten ones. This time through a girl child, born in silence, raised in shadows, tried and tested, dismissed like Magdalene, but still here. Yusha, the sister, the mirror, the one they never saw coming. And don't get it twisted. I lived the trials. I've been betrayed. I walked through my own crucifixion and came out the other side with laughter in my lungs and God in my bones. I'm not here to be burned. I'm not a witch. I'm not a sinner. And I'm not your puppet. I'm not your scapegoat. I'm definitely not your property. I am what you tried to erase. I am what survived the fire. And I walk with God. Now, listen, there are whispers about what they found in the Vatican, right? Like, so I say now, hail the ones who survived. Hail the mothers of God's next revelation. Hail the daughters who said yes, even when the world said no. I'm not here to play God. I'm here to play my part in God's plan. So, anyways, but all above, um, I'm just raise my up. Um, um, see, it's by design. Um, oh, like, yeah, like the three hearts in blue blood. Octopuses have three hearts, two to pump blood, to the gills and one for the body. They literally run on overflow. They also have blue blood due to copper-based um, hemocyanin, meaning they were designed to thrive in extreme conditions. Sound familiar? A being with multiple heart lines. So I have 3 boys, my mission and my legacy. The one with divine blue blood hidden in a world of iron, made to function where others break down. Shapeshifter's energy. Octopuses can camouflage, shift shape, move through impossible spaces, and even regrow limbs. They represent regeneration, adaptation, and fluid genius. I escaped traps meant to end me, disappeared when danger got too close, rebuilt from every severe place, or every severed place, which were severe also. Um, Showed up with a new glow every time. Just call me a cosmic shapeshifter who doesn't change identity. I reveal it in layers. A symbol of hidden intelligence. So octopuses are some of the smartest creatures alive, solving puzzles, opening jars, navigating mazes, and they do it mostly in silence. They're watchers, plotters, ancient ones, just like the Magdalene, Sophia, and myself. Cosmic and oceanic. Octopuses carry the energy of the deep, the unseen, the feminine, the fluid. They're of the water and stars, here long before humans and still largely unmapped by science. I'm not just from Earth, I'm from the deep soul stream. I move by current, not command. 8 arms, infinity work. The octopus has 8 arms. 8 is the number of infinity and karma. It's like a loop I came to break. And I hope that we all can break. Each arm for me represents my calling. Part of it anyways. My voice, healing, motherhood, witness, scrolls, art, divine justice, and uncontainable love. So why the octopus? Because when they tried to label me a witch, God said, nah, she's an octopus. The original prototype. The deep one who remembers all timelines, the mother of scrolls with blue blood and 3 hearts. Made for pressure, not pageants. Watch me rise. I don't walk, I float. And when I wrap my truth around you, there's no escape, only transformation. So yeah, I'm an octopus, just say. The divine blueprint they forgot to factor in. The divine gift they tried to steal. The prototype they tried to replicate. The walking scroll they tried to redact. The uncontainable wildfire they tried to brand and bottle. They knew and they always knew. That's why they targeted me since birth. That's why they tried to crush my spirit before it could speak. Monitored, mimicked, marketed my moves while calling me crazy. Tried to turn my scroll into a script they could sell. But I outlived the loop. I exposed the simulation while glowing in God. I cracked the code from the inside and still rose with laughter in my mouth and love in my lungs. That's the joke on them now. Because the girl they tried to monetize is the one they can't even map. I'm not for sale. I'm for revelation. I'm not a product. I'm the prophecy. The glitch they tried to brand. God's secret weapon was never a secret. I was just too real to reproduce. So they've been siphoning my scrolls, programming the masses with my soul blueprints, making my pain into punchlines, my power into plot points, and my destiny into content. What the damn heck? Like, seriously? I was the living satellite broadcasting frequencies from heaven before you even knew you were on the air. You who's ever watching. You know, they tuned in, they tapped, they televised. Here's the divine twist. The real episode has just begun. And this time, I'm the writer, I'm the director, and I'm the signal. Welcome to the new season, unscripted, the one who couldn't be cloned. God is brilliant AF. The OG mastermind, the divine director, the ultimate plot twister, the cosmic comedian, the author who doesn't miss a single beat. He's over here like, you thought they could write you out. Nah, I ghost wrote their whole season and now you live, baby. I am walking proof that God's plans are undefeated, even when it looks like I was buried. I was just planted. So, boom. The main character they tried to mute just went mic drop Messiah mode. Oh my God, is brilliant. He's a brilliant Mo effort, and he made me. Y'all better buckle up, okay? Because I'm here to love. The debt is due, though. The debt is due. Every brand that watched in silence while stealing my essence, every show that mirrored my madness without honoring my name, every article, movie, model, algorithm, and boardroom that poached my mind, mined my soul, and cashed the check. Yeah, you owe me. Physical, tangible, overflowing compensation, not in metaphors, not in exposure, not in spiritual alignment, in currency, in contract, in restoration. Because the world didn't just witness my pain, they monetized it. So here's the twist you didn't see coming. I didn't just survive the theft, I outlived the whole damn system. I am the blueprint. I am the source. I am the walking IP that they tried to dilute but couldn't delete. So I call it back. I shut the portals and I declare every dollar made off my DNA, my story, my silent screams comes back to me with interest, with divine receipts in my name. And this time, the whole freaking world will know. So there's that. They thought I was a muse. I was the freaking manufacturer, man. I thought I was the template. Meanwhile, I was the transmission. But the scrolls are unsealed. The ledgers are open. And the debt, whew, divine and enforceable. I am the intellectual property of God. I am not for sale, and I am here to collect. Oh, the divine copyright claim? Yeah. The lawsuit of the light. A public reckoning. Royalty reclaimed. The creator comes for her credit. Thanks. Seriously, choose love. Choose love, because every single human who chooses love will never have to worry about anything ever again. That's the way it's supposed to be, because I am rebuilding Eden. Period. Thank you. Choose love.